Welcome back, everybody. Happy weekend. We start with Trump experiencing a severe and kind of bizarre mental spiral over something either he heard about or he saw on TV, which was Canada, or the Ontario government specifically, ran an ad in the US against Trump's tariffs that are doing a lot of damage to Canada, obviously, and did so using the voice of Ronald Reagan. Real audio of him. But then Trump and a lot of his supporters started claiming it was fake or AI or deceptively edited. So I'll show you Trump at the White House was ranting about this, on Truth Social was ranting about it, etc. And I'll show you the ad. Very interesting stuff. I think I saw that it ran on Fox News, which is funny. Maybe that's where Trump saw it.
I don't know. They cheated on a commercial. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs, and they said he didn't. And I guess it was AI or... They cheated badly. Canada got caught cheating on a commercial. Can you believe it?
Now, I don't know. They got caught cheating. He knows a lot about cheating, so you would think he would be an authority on cheating on different things, but in this case, he doesn't even seem to be using that term correctly, because they weren't cheating on a commercial. And the Ronald Reagan Foundation did gripe about this in some way, but it's a little bit confusing because it was real and then there weren't restrictions on that video, so it's not like a copyright infringement. So I'm very confused what caused all this to blow up. But before showing you what Trump was saying on Truth Social, it's just not true that Reagan loved tariffs. And it's fascinating that Reagan and Trump have such a different stance on that, because Reagan for so long was the epitome of the Republican Party. So that's why I think Doug Ford, the Ontario premier, or whoever made the ad, found this to be impactful, because it's like the Republican of all Republicans, at least used to be, railed against the very types of policies that Trump is implementing. It doesn't mean Reagan never used tariffs or didn't see if you target them as a strategic tool, they can be good. But the type of approach Trump is taking obviously would have infuriated Ronald Reagan. Whatever you think of him, it definitely would have. And that's why they were able to use real audio to create this ad. While we watch it, please do click the subscribe button. If you appreciate the show, it is free.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Yeah, so that's what Trump sent, or what sent Trump, there we go, into a complete and total spiral. Starting with this, the Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement, which is fake. It's not. That's his real voice, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. We've played on the show whole 3-minute clips of Reagan explaining his opposition. The ad was for $7,500. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Think about how unhinged that is. One leader chose to fund and run this ad because that's in their interest. These tariffs have been terrible for them. And Trump cuts off all trade negotiations with Canada over it. The most sensitive president you can possibly imagine. Then he boasted again, Canada cheated and got caught. They fraudulently took a big buy ad saying that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs when he actually loved tariffs. Now, again, we don't have to, mostly all the words, that is an accurate representation of Reagan's views. Doesn't mean there weren't times when he used them, but never in the isolationist type of way economically that Trump has. This idea that we should be out here on an island and cut off much of our international trade is just silly, and it's what Trump seems to be acting in furtherance of with his trade policy. And so I don't even know why they're trying to die on this hill. It's dumb. There's a long, extensive record of Reagan's views on it. And then to call it AI is just so dishonest. Then Trump said the United States is wealthy, powerful, and nationally secure again, all because of tariffs. The most important case ever is in the United States Supreme Court. God bless America. Again, my Jubilee appearance is coming out tomorrow, or maybe today, depending on when we release this video. And one of the things that I talked about was a lot of the supporters of Trump that I debated would come up and go, oh yeah, well, Biden used a tariff in this way. Oh, well, you said you don't like tariff. It's like, oh my gosh, please, let's have a little ounce of nuance. The only clips they're able to find of Reagan to dispute the ad is him being like, hey, but this is an important tool that I can leverage for whatever purpose, or hey, we're going to do something on semiconductor or whatever. I don't know if that was it, but and that's what I was trying to explain to the supporters, which is no. There are, of course, in the interest of national security, certain industries you do want to be super protective of a domestic supply chain. One of the tools you can use to do that is tariffs. Trump's not doing that. And we've gone over this so many times, I'm getting kind of nauseous talking about it. It's so boring. But he's imposing them just across the board on everybody. And so then the effect of that is in the short term that Trump relatively will be in power, hopefully, if things go constitutionally, then businesses are thinking, wait, it take 10 years to shift our supply chain. So we're just going to pass that cost down, wait out these few years, and then they'll go away. But we're not actually going to shift the manufacturing structure, which is why these are failing. Then he said the stock market is stronger than ever because of tariffs. False. And then he, at a different point, was ranting against cattle ranchers. So whenever people, ranchers, farmers, start expressing fear about the economic situation they're facing because of Trump's economic approach, he just says, why aren't you grateful enough? He said the cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they're doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming to the United States. While he's realizing, I think we might have to buy a lot more beef from Argentina. Now, Aaron Blake posted the transcript of this Reagan ad, picking out the parts that they use for the ad so you can see that they're actually there. You can watch the full thing yourself if you want. We get it, though. And then I saw a right-wing account saying, it actually takes gall to be so dishonest. How are you not ashamed of yourself? And then posted this, I guess it's supposed to dispute what people are broadcasting of Reagan. Let's see.
Now, it hasn't always been easy. There are those in the Congress, just as there were back in the 30s, who want to go for the quick political advantage, who risk America's prosperity for the sake of a short-term appeal to some special interest group, who forget that more than 5 million American jobs are directly tied to the foreign export business, and additional millions are tied to imports. Well, I've never forgotten those jobs, and on trade issues, by and large, we've done well.
So then it says what he cut out, who the guy was responding to. Let's see.
Well, I've never forgotten those jobs, and on trade issues, by and large, we've done well. In certain select cases, like the Japanese semiconductors, we've taken steps to stop unfair practices against American products, but we've still maintained our basic long-term commitment to free trade and economic growth. So, with my meeting with Prime Minister Nakasone and the Venice Economic Summit coming up, it's terribly important not to restrict a president's options in such trade dealings with foreign governments. Unfortunately, some in the Congress are trying to do exactly that. I'll keep you informed on this dangerous legislation because it's just another form of protectionism, and I may need your help to stop it. Remember, America's jobs and growth are at stake. Until next week, thanks for listening, and God bless you.
So that was the OG podcast back during Reagan's time. I guess it was on the radio. Talk to you next week. This is Ronald signing out. So Ronald Reagan, Ronald doesn't like Donald. Never thought of that. But yeah, that was supposed to dispute. He said in certain specific cases, it's an important tool. Like everyone knew forever. This is the dumbest conversation ever. This is how I feel right now. So no, it wasn't a fake video. It's a real video. This is a real video.
This dipshit is using tariffs to distract from the Epstein files.
Oh, wait, no, that one wasn't real. But the other ones were, I swear. Another real video that I don't think Trump would like.
You can go to live in France, but you cannot become a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or Turkey or Japan, but you cannot become a German, a Turk, or Japanese. But anyone from any corner of the earth can come to live in America and become an American.
Beat drop. Hey, Ronald, get it, Ronald. So that's imagine Trump ever saying that. The beautiful part of what makes America America, contrasted against a lot of other countries, is the ability for someone to come from any place in the world legally, dedicate themselves to our principles, and then become an American. And even if you go and live somewhere else and get citizenship, there isn't that same sense in a lot of other places that you are, like he said, Japanese or that you are Turkish. But there is something deep and profound about one's ability to dedicate themselves to America, go through the extensive process, and become an American, like every other American. MAGA doesn't like that either. Maybe that was also AI. Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, or Mr. Canada, said this.
All right, good morning. Look, for months we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries. Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus of this trip.
It's not that they're just going to continually bend over backwards to police Trump. They will, to some extent, or the United States, yeah. But he just said it there. We're also going to look elsewhere and cultivate new trading relationships or enhanced ones with the economic giants of Asia. Who could he be talking about? Then again, the Ronald Reagan Foundation people seemed to get up in arms about that clip being used. Because I think probably now whoever runs, I don't know who runs that. I don't want to insult anybody, but might be MAGA aligned. And so Ben Meiselas said, FYI, the Reagan Library placed no use restrictions or access restrictions on its video of Ronald Reagan's radio address condemning tariffs. Perhaps the new MAGA board that controls the foundation now wants to read its own terms of use. So that's a good thing to point out. because that kind of sparked this series of events.